She will hide the truth and test you with silence. You can discover a woman's past without asking anything, by reading the signals she gives and the space she creates. This video exposes the covert tactics women use, the tests men miss, and the mistakes that cost you value as a man. Shift your aim from interrogation to observation. Use emotional control and stoic detachment to turn questions into data. See female psychology as patterns, not stories. Hold a steady masculine frame. Let emotional discipline reveal what words conceal. Stay to the end, and you will know how to judge without a single question. Will you watch and learn or keep guessing? Point number 1, emotional exposure. Why do you hunt for answers with your mouth when the real proof lives in small actions? Why do you expect honesty and then punish the silence that follows? Picture this. You at the gym mirror at 5 a.m., breath loud, jaw set. You scroll a message at 2 a.m., the screen a bright accusation. You sign custody papers, the pen shaking. You come home to an empty bed and try to pull history out of a blank night. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Epictetus. Say that line slowly. Let it land like a stone. 2,000 years ago, a man took less than he was owed. He measured the world by what he could carry back to the camp. He watched other men by what they did, not by what they promised. That practice lived in small acts, in the way a sleeve was mended, in the way a door was left closed. Now a different war. The battlefield is late texts and guarded answers. You test her with questions, and you mistake the test for truth. You rant, you search, you become noisy. The quiet shows the pattern. A lack of explanation is not always guilt. A smooth, careful habit will reveal itself in habits, in how she holds space for you, in what she never says at the bar. Count small repeats. Notice what does not change. That is the ledger. Imagine reading a ledger, not a confession. Imagine weighing behavior, not excuses. Imagine the one who gives without drama, and the one who gives stories instead. You will not win by forcing words. You will win by letting actions speak until they cannot be ignored. Train your silence. How many truths will you recognize when you stop speaking? Hold that tension. Stay with the ache. Next, I will show the exact signals that mean history is recent, and the small tests that expose the lie without a single question. Point number 2, recognition of the test. When she pulls away, do you chase or pause? When her tone shifts, do you ask what's wrong, or do you watch what changes? Every man faces the test. It never arrives with warning. It's hidden in delayed replies, sudden coldness, or quiet challenges to your control. You think she wants answers, but she wants to see your reaction. Because reaction is confession. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That is the test, ancient and unchanging. The Romans faced it through betrayal in the ranks. A soldier would be fed false orders to test his discipline. The untrained man would panic and move too soon. The trained one waited, held formation, trusted his center. That was the measure of trust and strength. Today it's no different. You get the modern version. The ignored message, the vague story about another man, the sudden drop in warmth. She's watching your pulse, not your words. Your need to react exposes your weakness. Your silence builds your worth. It's not cruelty. It's instinct. Every woman tests for stability the way every soldier tests for loyalty. She wants to feel the ground under her feet, even if she has to shake it first. So you hold still. You observe. You refuse the bait. You become the frame that no one can move. Your value rises when her attempts fail to disturb your center. That's when her eyes change. That's when respect replaces curiosity. Stay calm in the test. Watch, don't defend. Stand firm until truth reveals itself through behavior. Train your composure. How many tests have you failed because you couldn't sit with silence? Stay close. Next, you'll see how the masculine trap forms when reaction becomes identity and why losing control costs you everything. Point number 3, the masculine trap. Why do you think control means proving something? Why do you chase the woman who already decided what she wants to feel? The masculine trap begins the moment you try to fix what isn't broken, explain what doesn't need explaining, and prove what was never in doubt. It's the silent surrender dressed as effort. You look in the mirror and see strength, but she sees the man who reacts to every shift in her tone. The moment she knows your peace depends on her attention, the balance is gone. Now you're playing her game. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Freedom is not about running from pain. It's about refusing to beg for peace. In Rome, a general who begged the Senate for validation was forgotten. A man who stood alone in silence became legend. The crowd always senses the one who needs approval. They feed him cheers, then strip his power. Today, men fall into the same design. You beg for closure, reassurance, validation. You mistake her approval for oxygen. And when she withholds it, you suffocate in your own expectations. This is the trap. You lose sight of your mission and orbit her emotions. You turn your frame into a reaction. You give up command and call it connection. The Stoic path cuts that rope. You stop chasing understanding and start building gravity. You speak less, hold more, let silence do the work. Every time you refuse to argue, you reclaim ground. Every time you stop explaining, you regain weight. Every time you let her feel the space your absence creates, your value grows. Train your restraint. When did you start mistaking attention for respect? Next, we turn to detachment, not as escape, but as clarity, the point where emotion stops controlling your direction. Point number 4, detachment as clarity. Why do you think caring means losing control? Why do you equate emotion with weakness when it's only proof of what still owns you? Detachment is not coldness, it's sight. It's the moment you stop fighting for a version of reality that never existed. You stop asking why she changed. You start seeing how she always was. At 3 a.m. you stare at the phone that won't light up. You scroll old photos hoping to feel what's gone. You're not waiting for her. You're waiting for permission to move. That's the illusion. Marcus Aurelius said, "You will find rest from vain fancies if you perform every act in life as though it were your last." He meant focus, presence, clean detachment. The ancient warrior stood over fallen comrades and didn't curse fate. He accepted the cost. He still fought at dawn. He refused to let loss cloud purpose. You too must learn to see through the noise. In modern war, clarity is your weapon. When she withdraws, when life bends, you step back, breathe, and watch. You no longer ask, "What does this mean?" You ask, "What can I control?" You shift from emotion to observation. You study patterns. You notice how her stories change when your energy does. You stop chasing closure and start building discipline. You stop needing to be understood. You start becoming unshakable. That's detachment. It's not a wall. It's armor built from stillness. Every calm response rewires your instincts. Every pause reclaims your authority. Every moment of silence builds clarity. Train your stillness. How much of your pain came from refusing to see what was already clear? Stay sharp. Next, we'll face the loss of value that follows reaction and why silence protects what words destroy. Point number 5. Loss of value through reaction. Why do you think reacting proves you care? Why do you give away your peace every time someone pulls a string? The fastest way to lose value is to react. The moment you do, you show what controls you. And in that instant, your power shifts to whoever caused the reaction. You get the message that sounds off, the cold tone, the sudden distance. You snap, you type paragraphs, you explain. You think you're defending your truth, but you're auctioning your worth. Seneca said, "Anger, if not restrained, is often more harmful to us than the injury that provokes it." Every reaction is a small death of control. Every outburst writes a confession. In ancient times, warriors trained to fight without emotion, not because they felt nothing, but because emotion made them predictable. A man who struck first without thought exposed the formation. A man who waited, who measured, who let chaos burn itself out, always won. Now your battlefield is digital. Her silence, her test, her mood swing. The trap remains the same. You lose by showing that you need to win. When you chase, plead, defend, or explain, you turn power into noise. Your energy becomes cheap. Your presence loses weight, and she no longer feels the gravity she once respected. But when you hold, when you breathe and let the storm pass without movement, you become unreadable, untouchable, real. That's when her tone shifts again. That's when curiosity replaces control. Because she realizes she can't move you anymore. Your calm becomes your value. Your silence becomes your proof. Train your composure. How many times have you paid with dignity for the price of being understood? Stay steady. Next comes the discipline the ancients used to turn pain into precision, and how that same control wins every modern emotional war. Point number 6. Ancient discipline in modern war. Why do you think rituals are optional when the world demands proof? Why do you wait for crisis to decide what habit you will keep? Picture this. You wake before dawn. Coffee burns your tongue. You lace shoes in a silent garage. You move through the hour with a list you do not tell anyone. You sign papers by day. You train in the dark at night. You return to a house that offers small, testing silences. A message unread on the counter. A voice that shifts tone at dinner. You do not explode. You do not plead. You fold your day into the plan and walk away. You keep appointments with yourself. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Let that settle like iron." An old camp taught men to check their kit at sunrise. They polished armor until it reflected the sky. They ate the same bread, marched the same mile, and made the same bed. The small repetitions hardwired a shape that could not be bent by rumor. These routines made a life predictable, and predictability made trust. Now the war is different. Your camp is emails, late nights, and shifting loyalties. Your armor is the quiet routine you keep when no one watches. You build proof with actions repeated until they become reputation. You remove emotion from choice by making habit the first response. Stories and excuses fall away when the ledger is full. See how one small act multiplies. See how consistent refusal to be moved rewrites what others expect. See how your day constructs the man she finally trusts or the man she tests endlessly. No exceptions. Embody the routine. Will you start today and never skip a single morning? Prepare to learn the specific daily rules that convert private practice into visible worth. Next, I will give you the exact tasks, the timing and the failure points that separate steady men from the needy. You've just seen how silence can reveal more truth than questions ever will. Every reaction, every pause, every decision to hold still instead of chase. That's how you reclaim control and rebuild your worth. If this message hits something real in you, remember, you're not the only one learning to stay calm in a world that feeds on noise. Every man watching this is fighting his own version of the same war. And that's what makes this space powerful. So thank you for spending your time here, for choosing to listen, reflect, and sharpen your mind. If you found value in this, subscribe and stay part of this quiet movement of men who think deeper and react slower. And if you've faced a moment where silence taught you more than words, share it in the comments. Someone else might need to hear it. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.